أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أيها الإخوة أيتها الأخوات أحييكم بتحية الإسلام تحية من عند الله مباركة طيبة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm very happy to be with you here today to speak at this conference around our responsibility, asking ourselves what we can do from protesting to being engaged in our society. So, as we don't have much time and you are listening to so many beautiful talks, just the one what we heard now by the Sheikh Ali Jum'a, it's really essential. You know, I just spent the last month with the Prophet ﷺ writing about him and really what he said, from the ahadith that are giving us al-ahkam to the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is really when Aisha radiallahu anha was asked about the Prophet ﷺ, she was saying, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ, he was the Quran in the way he was dealing with the people, in the way he was dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's really essential for us to come to this understanding that in which way we can be rooted in the Islamic tradition. And at the end of the day, when it's really a love story between our heart and the Prophet ﷺ, it's important not only to study the facts, but to study the meaning, every single situation where the Prophet ﷺ was involved, in which way he was dealing with Allah, in which way he was dealing with his fellow Muslims, with the companions, in which way he was dealing with in every single situation. You can draw from every situation teachings that are really necessary for our time. So it's a point for us to ask also ourselves when it comes to this, in which way he was engaged in his society. Not only he received the revelation, but he changed his society and the world. He changed, his heart was changed. He changed the hearts of the people around him. He changed the society, and he just spread around what he was saying when he arrived in Medina. When the first thing what he said when arriving in Medina, Ifshu salam. Ifshu salam, meaning spread peace around you. At'imu ta'am, give food to the poor people. Silul arham, just try to keep the people, the families, being united. Sallu wa nasu niyam, which is the centrality of the Islamic spirituality. When all the people are sleeping, wake up. Wake up to his call and wake up to the meaning of your life. And then saying, تَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ بِسَلَامٍ. Then at the end you will go to this paradise that you are seeking with peace. And this is all what we are trying to do. And at the end, our engagement in our society, I changed something which was essential. For 20 years I have been working within the Muslim communities, dealing with books, with scholars, with ulama. And I was reading, and my field was usul al-fiqh and fiqh. And then, I was with this obsession that what is essential for us is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to promote justice. And at the end, through the Prophet's life, ﷺ, what was essential for me is that what he was asking us is to promote peace. Peace with all the conditions of peace. The inner peace is come back to something which is essential in your heart. And in your heart there is a question, which is exactly what we have in the Quran. فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. This natural aspiration towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this question is everywhere. And in fact, we should know something. When you call people, Ud'u ila sabili rabbik. When you call people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, you are not calling, you are recalling. Come back to the question which is essential. Why? To call is to recall. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه. Oh, you who have this iman, come, respond to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when and the Prophet, his messenger, when they both call you to what gives you life, and know that the knowledge of Allah is between yourself and your heart. Come back. Come back. So this is the first engagement, which is towards our own self. It's essential to understand this meaning. It's essential. And who gives us this teaching out of his life, out of what he was achieving, the Prophet ﷺ, telling us the first condition of inner peace is to answer the question, why? Why are you here? Why all this? Coming to all these lectures just to have 1 hour of peace, or to try out of this peace to get a life of peace? Between your prayers to get that peace, which is essential for us. And then there is something which we know which is essential to get that peace. No peace without education. There is no peace without tarbiyah. And this is why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first spoke to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, اقرأ باسم ربك. And Rabbik is not only Allah far from you, it's your educator. He is educating you. You have no father, you lost your mother, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your educator. So come to this spiritual education, which is essential for us. The third condition is justice. This is why within the Quran we have this prayer, which is Allahumma zalamna anfusana. Al-dhulm is to be unjust with your own self, and then to be unjust with the people, because you have in the Quran, Inna Allah ya'muru bil-adla wallahu yuhibbu al-muqsitin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands justice. No peace without justice. No justice, no peace. So this is something which is essential for us, which is the third condition of peace. And then there is the fourth condition, which is essential for all of us, which is consistency. Consistency is essential. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Try to do what you say, and say as much as you can do, and try your best. Avoid hypocrisy and come to consistency. Without consistency, no peace. And then there is something which is also essential towards this peace that we want. So we are engaged towards a way of peace. Ifshu salam. Come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come back to your own self and to your own heart, and spread this peace around you. But there is something which is essential. All these conditions are essential with one thing. The second name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and according to some scholars, is also the same first name at the same level, Ar-Rahman. To forgive. Because if you are not forgiving, if you don't know how to forgive you to your own self, go back to Allah and ask Him for tawbah. And tawbah means that if you are sincere, He knows your sincerity and He will remove everything. As at the first time. And so many times the Prophet ﷺ is referring to Al-Jum'ah or to the Al-Hajj, to all what we can do just to remove the bad things you have done, to remove the mistakes, to remove the weaknesses. Just to come back to this, forgiveness is essential towards yourself and towards the other. Just look for your brothers and sisters, 70 excuses. If you don't find one, just imagine that there is one you don't know. This is the message of Islam. This is the main thing that we have to come. So, by the way, when it comes to be engaged in our society, the starting point is this one. This is where we are strong. This is our spiritual identity. Beyond anything else, our spiritual identity is this one. This is from where we get that strength. And this is why we have in the Quran, أَلَمْ تَرَى كَيْفَ ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا كَلِمَةً طَيِّبَةً كَشَجَرَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ أَصْلُهَا ثَابِتٌ. Then the roots are rooted in the earth. You are firm. And what are these roots? Al-Iman. And the earth, what is the symbol of the earth? Your heart. So the strength that you have is coming from here. And it could rain, you can have wind, you can have whatever coming from outside. If the roots are strong, you will be strong. This is al-kalima tayyiba, which is as al-shajara tayyiba. When it comes to al-khabitha, the bad or the weak word, the weak involvement to our faith, it's as if you are outrooted from the earth. So anything coming from outside is just driving you left or right. There is no stability. There is no balanced identity and spiritual identity, as we are trying to say, as we are trying to do, as we are trying to achieve as Muslims. So when it comes to this, I was asking myself, coming to this conference, and say, from protest to engagement. And by the way, I have just one concern about the title. To protest is to be engaged. Sometimes you have to say no. The Prophet ﷺ said no. Sometimes you have to say what you are doing, it's against my name, it's against my principles. So sometimes to protest is a way to be engaged. It's not enough, but it could be the beginning of a common general public awareness. It happens. It happened in this country. When you all were saying, as 20,000 people were saying today outside, the war in Iraq was a mistake, it's a protest. We not agree with this. We are not agreeing with that. So it's an engagement. It's words to be heard. It's words to be said, and you have to be part of the whole process in democratic society. Having said that, it comes to something which is that we have to, engagement means that we are acting against the victim mentality. Yes, there are Muslims today facing security measures and facing injustices, discriminations and racism. That's for sure. There is no discussion about this. We have two choices now. Sit down here and say the British society doesn't like Muslims and Islam. Or stand up and say, okay, look, we are British citizens, we are Muslims. We are Muslims and British citizens. We are British Muslim citizens, and we have rights and duties. We will stand for our rights, and we will offer what we know as our responsibility. We are not only integrated, this discussion about integration is over. Now for us it's time to contribute. We want to give something to this society. And it's really important not to just have this victim mentality, which is self-nurturing itself. You know, it's always when you speak about it, you have it in mind. It's become a psychological obsession. And we know this is the behaviorist psychology is teaching us that by repeating something, it becomes something which is part of your mindset. And it says like this. You know, this is what I call also, just an example, the custom officer syndrome. It happened to me. You know, you are driving, going towards the border, and you said to yourself, I am sure that with my face, he's going to stop me. I'm sure. You know, with this face of not so British or Swiss citizen, a bit coming from there. And then you arrive, and as you arrive very close to him, he can see on your face a sense of tense. Say, he is going to stop me. And he is looking at you, and he stops you. And if you, and that's it, you are self-fulfilling the prophecy, because it's in you, you send it to him. And you know what it's happened? Say, okay, come here. And say, I knew him. I knew that he was to do that. And that's right. And you know the point, if you were at his place, you would have arrested yourself. Isn't it? That's the custom officer syndrome. And we have this in our community. We are nurturing this sense that something is wrong in them, and we have it in us. You know, La ilaha illallah is a word of liberation. It's to free yourself. These are the roots where you have these, you know, branches in the sky. This is freedom. So we have to come to this, okay, yes, engagement out of self-respect and freedom. The second point here, which is really important for us, it's when we go beyond this, is in which way we can contribute. And what are the conditions of this contribution? Let me just say 3 points on this. And this is coming from the Prophet's life. The Prophet ﷺ taught us how just to contribute. He was not only, you know, it's very strange and paradoxical. The Prophet ﷺ coming with a message and sitting down listening to people. He was coming with something to say, and he was listening. And you are here with a message. Listen to the British society. Listen to your society. You are at home here. And at home you have to listen to the people. What do they want? What are the questions? What are the fears? Why is it so today that everywhere, every day you have people speaking about Islam with, wow, there is a problem. And we don't know how to deal with it because we confuse the question, we confuse the level. We speak to the citizens meaning that it's the government, and we speak to the government forgetting the citizens. We are alienating ourselves out of confusion. And the third thing, which is the heart of the message, clarity, priority, a vision. So the first condition that we need living in our society here is first something which is essential, is confidence. Confidence. Look, you heard. He was just almost crying, coming here and telling us, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. You are a mercy. What do you want more than that? As a confidence, to be confident in that. What do you want more than that? That this message is not for you, it's beyond you, it's beyond your heart, it's for all the people. So there is something which is a powerful thing. You know, even some people, they don't know Arabic, they sit here and they listen to the Quran and they feel there is something here. There is something in this book, because it's beyond us. It's coming from Rabbul Alameen. So this is something which is to give us this confidence that we have to be engaged in our society and knowing in which way we have to promote it. And we need also a sense of belonging, meaning by that it's not enough. You know, when I come to this Muslim gathering, we are all together, I can feel that there is, you know, powerful spirituality here. That's fine, that's good. And also to see, we all say, this is home for you, you are British. You are Muslims and you are British citizens. But the point here is not to feel it here. It's to have this sense of belonging outside. Think about this country as your home. And if it's not your home, think about your kids. Think about your daughters and sons. They are going to live here. So what you want to do is to change this society for the better. Not to hope that this society is going to collapse. Because if it's collapsing, your sons and daughters are going to be part of the whole process. Think about this. You are here to change. A rahmah means we are changing it for the better. So we have to ask ourselves in which way we can contribute the sense of belonging and this contribution. Very quickly, as I said, how do we build this sense of confidence? The Sheikh Ali Jum'ah said something which is part of the whole process. Knowledge is essential. Come back to this knowledge. Ma'rifatullah wal ilm. Innama yakhsha Allah min ibadihi al-ulama. We said that. It's part of a process. Not only one of us, not every one of us is asked to be a alim, but every one of us is asked to seek knowledge. The point is that the only single question is to ask yourself, what am I going to know more tomorrow than today? That's it, just to seek. And something which is essential, he said it as the prayer of the Prophet, ﷺ, Allahumma nas'aluka ilman nafi'a. We ask you for useful knowledge, something that is going to change us. So here, there is something which is really important for us, coming to the essential and the spiritual meaning of our deen. So, what we can add to this, it's the knowledge of our teaching, our spiritual identity. And there is something in our spirituality which is very, very essential as well. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ. So there is one God. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa. There is this spirituality. This is the tawheed. And then there are the values that we are all trying to get. We are all trying to reach. We are all trying to implement in our life. Which is, as I said, just to be just with our own self, to educate our own self. So ask yourself, not by coming, you know, I am very scared that all the business of conferences and lectures is becoming a fashion. We come from one lecture to another to sit 1 hour and say, okay, we are listening. This is consumerism, it's not education. It's not education. Education is to sit with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to read it every day. Education means to change yourself. Education is to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ and to try to see in which way he was dealing. Am I dealing the same? I'm just doing what am I trying to do what he was doing? Am I with my kids as he was? You heard the story. And sometimes we sit, we cry for 1 hour and we forget for 2 weeks. So the point is really to come to this understanding of our religion and to come to this understanding of Sharia, in fact. Sharia is not a closed universe of laws. It's a way. It's a way towards faithfulness. I'm very happy to have here Sheikh Rashid Ghannouchi, he wrote so many books about this, just trying to teach this community, come back to the fundamentals. And Sheikh Ben Baya the same, Sheikh Ben Baya. We have here, it's incredible to have here in our room these scholars coming from around the world with all this knowledge. And we have to take this and go back home and try to say, okay, now, how can I change my life? How can I get this? Just not to listen to them. The people who are speaking are not stars, they are educators. And you know the difference between the stars and the educator? The stars think that the audience serves him. The educators know that they are at the service of the audience. It's exactly the other way around. We are him to serve. We are not him to be served. An alim who is going to be served is not an alim. There is part of jahiliyyah in it, in the whole process, to serve the people. And all the people are here to try to serve this community, inshallah. So our sharia is just to come and to understand, when we speak about the sense of belonging, is really to say something which is part of our understanding. You are in this society, we have to be engaged and we have to give something. As I said, the sense of belonging, to say this is home. And as Muslims, we really have to look again at our Islamic education. Islamic education is a universal message with very strong principles. What does it mean, a universal message? It means that the principles are not going to change, they are trans-historical. So we don't care about the history here of the principles. We are respecting immutable principles. But these universal principles are not telling us, are not teaching us that everything should be a reality of a uniformity, that we are not going to deal with diversity. No, we have to deal with diversity. So the same principles for all the Muslims, but many cultures. Islam is as universal, it takes from all the culture. And I'm always repeating this, the Arabic language is the language of Islam. The Arab cultures are not the cultures of Islam. They are not. But you know, many Muslims coming from Pakistan, when I say that, oh, yes, that's it. They are very happy when it comes, this very old fight between, Urdu, Pakistani culture and the Arab culture, because they were treated like this. And I'm asking both the Arabs and the Pakistani and the Bangladeshi and the Turkish to think exactly the same about the British, about the European cultures, because not everything in the European cultures is bad. We have many things that are good, that we have to take. So the point for us is to be engaged and to say, okay, first we integrate from this society before contributing. And integrating this means we know what is good and we understand what are the weaknesses or where we have to be selective and what are the questions. Because there are questions. You are dealing with societies, the Muslim communities is going through something I call an identity crisis, but we are in the middle of societies that are going exactly through the same process. Identity crisis. Who are we? What are we going to do? What are we going to be? What are our societies? What are they coming to be, these societies, in 1 decade, 2 decades, or in the future? These are the questions that are essential here. So where is our contribution? And how do we have to promote this contribution? I think that, and here there is another syndrome, which is not the custom officer syndrome, is the Zidane syndrome. You know Zidane. Zidane is a French player. You know him, because the British would have liked to have him there. Even if he's Algerian by origin, come, forget about your French citizenship. Look at something. Zidane gave so much to the French team. He was a leader, he was giving out of his character, he was giving as a player. No one asked him at the end of one football match, where do you come from? When you give, your origin is forgotten because you give. But when you are perceived as a problem, at the end of the sentence, say, where do you come from? Because you are, no, think about it. Think about it, it's essential. It's a psychological phenomenon. When you give, the people say, wow, we take. But when you are perceived as only complaining, only protesting, only saying we are victims, the people say, wow, where do they come from? And by the way, what is Britishness? Because they feel that you are not part. They never said that to Zidane. Because at the end of the day, and this is why, because the syndrome Zidane is the embodiment of the Islamic teaching. Wherever you are, you give. You know something? It's a confidence I wanted to make it public, Yusuf Islam. You are here in front of me. My father, just before passing away, he met you a few years ago and he said, from the starting point, when he became a Muslim, this Yusuf Islam only give and give and give. Rahimahullah rahmatan wasa. I never forget that. And till the end of my life, my respect is from these words, because he said that and saying, he was just telling me, give. Give as he's giving. Give. Be a gift. And you know in our time what it is to be a gift? It's to be a question. All the people around you are forgetting the meaning of the life. What they should see out of you, rahmatan lil alamin, means what? What is the meaning in Arabic of this, this forgetfulness? It's al-ghafla. Al-ghafla. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ غَافِلُونَ. They are forgetting about the life, the hereafter. They are in a ghafla, forgetting. What is your gift? Just to ask the question. The people, when they look at you, they will say, why is she? Why is he acting like this? Why? Why is he serving? Why is he smiling? الابتسام في وجه أخيك صدقة. Why are you smiling? It's a gift. So you are a question mark in the daily life of the people. Be a question. This is the first gift in you. In your daily life, just be a question. Just, I remember an American intellectual saying, by the way, I still have 5 minutes. I'm following, but I will stick to my time. An American intellectual saying to people, he was from a minority, he told them, you know what? I don't want only to be respected by you and tolerated by you. You know what? I want to bother you. No, look, to bother you is to send you a question, just for you to ask yourself, who am I? With this, it's really important, so be a question. Second, which is really important, is not only this, who he or who she wants to serve Allah should serve the people. The best among us is the best for the people. Not for the Muslims, for the people. Serve them. Serve them out of emotion, friendship, forgiveness, help. Serve them with your knowledge. Serve them in the society. This is engagement. This is practical, visible engagement. Serve the people. So be confident with your religion and serve them. But to serve them, it cannot be that you are isolated from them. To serve them far from the society is not going to be visible. You should have a positive, visible presence by serving, by speaking. And I think it's really essential for us to understand that as the centrality of our things. And there is something which is important within the community. Life, very often the Muslims are saying Islam is a very simple religion. That's true. But life is complicated. It's very complicated. But don't make religion more complicated than the life is. So, yassiru wa la tu'assiru. Yassiru, make it easy for the people. Make it easy. Bashir, tell the people, come. It's something where you will find light. Where you will find peace. This is what we want. So this is our contribution. And I want to finish by saying this is a positive contribution and we have to come with this. My conclusion is something which is also really important. You are in this society And all these words out of your region are really important, because by doing this, if you want to get the peace I was talking about before, you have to be consistent. So it's pushing you towards self-education. You want to serve, you know that you have to be patient, you come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're asking for more patience. It's a virtuous process. You have a vicious circle and a virtuous process. This is the way you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the Prophet ﷺ. And really, all the stories of the Prophet ﷺ, just helping the people to nurture their self, to be better, to improve their own, spiritual education. But there is something which is essential as well. I told you, listen to the questions around you, and you will see that the people are asking for food for their hearts. They want something coming from them. They don't want superficial emotions. They want deep, 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 deep answers. Only the people who are following, all this business or artificial, answers are happy with it. But deep down, you can see that there is something which is a deep question. So you have to answer to this out of our spiritual presence. But we also have to contribute at the intellectual level. And I want to end by this, because I will not forget that. We need to also have a critical contribution. We live in societies where there is freedom, where there are rights, but we also have to be involved in all the levels as citizens. And our critical contribution is also to ask ourselves where our societies are leading or heading. When you see all these new laws, when you see all these new politics pushing us under or putting us under pressures, political pressures, we have to ask ourselves, yes, we want democracies, but we also have to be critical towards the kind of democracies we have now. And it's not a Muslim issue, by the way. It's an issue of justice, so it's a British issue. And you have to be critical and to deal with all your fellow citizens, to be able to have something which is a critical contribution to what our democracies are. What about freedom of expression? So by being critical, please stop always being involved with foreign policies. We need British Muslims to deal with domestic issues in this country. We need Muslims to be engaged in education. The education in this country is a problem. There is a crisis. I didn't realize this before coming here. It's just, for me, it's just incredible. Where are the Muslims? Where are the Muslims when it comes to unemployment? When it comes to Muslims about job market, about racism, domestic issues? You have to be part of the whole thing. And not only when it comes to, we speak about Islam, we speak about Muslims, then we come. It's a universal message. It's not only for you. The Quran was sent saying to the Prophet ﷺ, look at this. When one Muslims were trying to put the mistake, to a Jew, the Quran was revealed to tell the Prophet ﷺ, the Muslim is the guilty man and the Jew is innocent. Telling us at the same time, justice is universal. It's not a Muslim business. It's not just with the Muslim and then just with them. This is not acceptable. This is not us. This is not our religion. This is a narrow-minded attitude. It's not us. So the point is critical contribution. And let me say something. At the same time, we are involved in the critically in the discussion at the domestic level, but you also need to be the voice for the voiceless. You also need to be here in this country, the people saying that you are British citizens. You demonstrated in the streets in this country, and you are still not happy with what is done in your name. Because it's in your name. You have to say to the government, look, stop in Iraq. Show some mercy and some concern and some justice towards Palestinians. Show some mercy towards Tibetans. Show some mercy towards oppressed people. You are these voices. You are not here to be far from the society. I'm sorry. The spiritual dimension cannot be without the other voice, which is a concern towards the oppressed. What are you going to say in the day? I'm sorry. What are you going to say in the day of judgment? That you didn't know? That in your name things are done against people who are oppressed? I'm sorry, you have to have a voice. So it's a critical voice. It's not to cry. It's not to insult. is to be critically involved as citizens, asking to be respected as citizens, putting your votes, making your voice being heard, and speaking for the name of the people. You know, we condemn the killing of innocent people. Where are you to condemn the silence of the international community? The silence of the international community should be condemned. It's not acceptable. This is, you know, the Prophet ﷺ was at the same time so nice, so sweet. But when it was an injustice, he was to stand up and say, no, never, never, never. So let us be critically in the process to stand up, full of mercy, but aware of the challenges. Critically involved at the intellectual level and at the spiritual level. This is what we have to be and what we should try to promote in our life. There is one thing that I wanted to end with. It's the last word. In some of the airports in this country, some planes took some of your brothers and sisters and some people. They sent them to countries where they were tortured. They were tortured. And as Muslims, we know, torture is not accepted in any way. Never. So, you know, when you say no to that, you are not only standing for Allah, you are standing for all the British people, telling to the British, not in your name, it's not dignified, it's not right, it cannot be accepted. So, you know, when you are going to speak like that, with all the people who are going to speak like that, when you are standing for justice for all the people, not only the oppressed Muslims, the people are going to respect you. You know why? Because you respect yourself. And you know why you respect yourself? Because you want to be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no way but this way. So to stand up. And this is engagement. This is the way the people are going to say, yes, these Muslims are a question for my mind. And out of all the fears, I want to know them better. Meaning by that, to know our religion better. Meaning by that, coming back to the universality of our message. May Allah, inshallah, help us to be faithful to our message, to get this useful knowledge. Wallahu a'lam wa a'la wa ahkam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.